Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are digging into a really powerful skill, one that's often overlooked but can make all the difference when it comes to success. We're talking about emotional intelligence, what I like to call the unseen advantage.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a big question. I want you to think about this for a second. We all know someone who is incredibly smart, right? Top of their class, brilliant ideas, but they just can't seem to get ahead. Why is that? Why do smart people fail so often?
Well, here's the thing. The answer, more often than not, has nothing to do with what they know. It's about how they handle themselves and how they deal with other people. It's not about their intelligence quotient, their IQ. It's all about their emotional quotient, their EQ. And that's exactly what we're breaking down today.
So, if EQ is the key, what exactly is this secret ingredient for success? Let's get a clear definition of what emotional intelligence really is. All right, here's the core definition. EQ is your ability to recognize, understand, and then manage your own emotions. But, and this is a big but, it doesn't stop there. It's also about using that awareness to communicate better, to really empathize with people, to push through challenges, and, at the end of the day, to build strong, positive relationships. It's a seriously powerful skill set.
Now, this whole big concept really boils down to four main things, which you can see right here. Think of this as our roadmap. It starts with you, recognizing and managing your own stuff, and then it moves outward to understanding others and building those great connections. So let's walk through each one. Our very first stop is the absolute foundation of everything. You have to know yourself. Before you can even think about managing your emotions or understanding someone else, you got to start with self-awareness.
And look, self-awareness isn't some vague, mystical idea. It's incredibly practical. Take this example, right? If you can just identify, hey, I get really impatient during long meetings, you're not a victim of that feeling anymore. You can actually plan for it. That's the first step to taking back control.
So how do you actually build this muscle? Well, you could start keeping a simple journal, just jotting down your feelings and reactions. Or just take a few minutes at the end of the day to think back. When did I feel strong today? When did I feel drained? The whole point is to become kind of like a detective of your own mind, looking for those patterns and triggers.
Okay, so once you're aware of what you're feeling, the next big step is to master those feelings. This is where you learn to stop having a knee-jerk reaction and start giving a thoughtful response. Think of this as your emergency toolkit for when things get stressful. Honestly, the most powerful thing you can do is just pause. That tiny little gap between something happening and you reacting, that's where you get your control back. Fill that pause with a deep breath. Then, consciously switch your brain from, whose fault is this, to, okay, how do we fix this? And this is why it's such a game changer. Self-regulation isn't about bottling up your emotions. No way. It's about channeling them. It's the superpower that allows you to make decisions based on your bigger goals, not just on a fleeting impulse.
So we've looked inward at ourselves, right? Self-awareness, self-management. Now, EQ asks us to turn outward. It's time to build the empathy bridge, the thing that lets us truly connect with other people by trying to see the world from their point of view.
Empathy isn't magic. It's a practice. It's a skill. And this right here is the playbook. Really listen to understand, not just to wait for your turn to talk. And you don't have to agree with someone to validate how they feel. A simple, I can see why you'd feel that way, can totally change a conversation. It's about being curious, not judgmental. And here is where you really see the payoff, especially at work. Think about the difference. A manager who just swoops in with criticism, that creates fear. But a manager who takes a second to understand an employee's challenges first, that builds trust. And that trust is everything when it comes to real motivation. All right, now for the final piece. This is where we put it all together. When you combine self-awareness, self-management, and empathy, you unlock the highest level of EQ, the ability to communicate, to influence, and to build really powerful social skills. Just look at this slide. It's the exact same situation but handled in two completely different ways. The low EQ response, you miss the deadline, is just pure blame. It puts the other person on the defensive immediately. But the high EQ response, I feel concerned. How can we solve this together? That uses an I statement to share a feeling and immediately makes it about teamwork. One closes the door, the other opens it wide. And that is how you build genuine influence. Not through power, but through respect. It's all about making people feel seen and valued. Focus on working with people.
Use those I statements we just talked about. And get in the habit of celebrating other people's wins. It doesn't cost a thing, and it builds so much goodwill. So let's just recap the whole structure one last time. It all rests on that foundation of self-awareness, knowing yourself. From there, you build up with the pillars of self-management and empathy. And all of that supports the very top, social skill, the ability to really connect with others. It's a pretty clear and powerful framework when you see it all together.
Now, the real value here isn't just knowing this stuff, right? It's about actually using it. So I'm going to leave you with this final question to chew on. Looking at everything we just covered, what is the one single first step you're going to take to start building your EQ today? Thanks for tuning in.